Let's take a trip down memory lane to an era when 3 3/4 inch action figures were perfect for just one thing, world building, and Hasbro understood it. So they gave us stuff like this. These are the GEONOSIAN War Chambers from the SAGA collection back in, well, I mean, the movie came out in 2002, but I bet they waited till 2003 to release them. I've been looking for these for a while. I just found them at Fourth Moon Toys. This is not an ad. And let's open them up. We're gonna start with this one. This is the one that has the Duker, along with Poggle the Lesser, which is a fantastic action figure. That's basically one of the main reasons I wanted this. And San Hill, the banker. And the reason these sets have been on my mind is I just read the Darth Plagueis novel and was reminded that Darth Plagueis is a moon. He's one of those guys. I don't have the Darth Plagueis action figure because that thing is rare and very expensive and I don't care that much, but I did want a moon in my collection. Well, you really don't even have to, these just pop right out. Guys, the twist tie era. Remember the twist tie era? Remember how many of these you've undone in your life? So obviously the selling point of the set is that the two sets came with half of the war table each, half of the holographic war table. This thing's in, you know, pretty good shape for something that's been in a box for almost 24 years or something like that. They also did the Jedi Council chamber, or did they end up doing all of it? I know they did at least half. Maybe they did the whole thing back then, and I know every time HasLabs come up in conversation, some fan is like, they got to do a HasLab of the whole Jedi Council. Sure, I mean, do it. But this is great. They're never going to do these guys again. I can tell you that. These characters, well, aside from the Duker, these guys never going to show up in the vintage collection. I actually have to pause the video so that I can undo all the twist ties. Wasteful, non-biodegradable plastic. So there's San Hill. The banking clan will sign your treaty. Very reminiscent of the Kaminoan action figures from this era in that it's a really skinny figure that kind of isn't load-bearing by any means, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be, just stands behind a table, so that's totally fine. That's what he looks like. Remember these? Remember all the rubber bands that they used to use? They obviously don't do too well in captivity for 2 decades. Now, that is not a great Dooku. The Dooku I am actually looking for to be kind of the final, there have been a lot of Dookus over the years, and aside from the one that did the flip, remember they had that thing where you could flip a Dooku and it had magnetic feet so it would land on its feet? Aside from that guy, the one I'm looking for is actually the Revenge of the Sith Dooku from 2005. I just like that one the best. I don't like any of the other ones as much as I like that one, including the recent vintage collection one. So that is the one I'm currently looking for my collection. But the selling point for this Count Dooku is his meaty Death Star hologram holding hand, which did the vintage collection one come with one of that? Because that is a really good accessory. If the vintage collection one didn't come with one of these, Hasbro done ripped you off. He's got so much of this old elastic crap around his arm, I may never get it off. This man is mummified in old rubber bands. And if you were thinking, boy, I bet that hologram doesn't stay in that hand real well, you were right. And finally, the big guy, old Poggle the Lesser. They call him the Lesser, but I think he's great. Look at that. That's a great figure. Big, chunky figure. I never liked the other Geonosian, like the Geonosian Warrior action figures. They didn't really read Star Warsy enough for me. They were too skinny and off model, but like this is a good figure. Good man, Poggle the Lesser. Ugh, no good. Set number 2 has the Attack of the Clones version of Nute Gunray, which, you know, I know it's a figure that does absolutely nothing, but I really do like Nute Gunray as a toy. I like my episode 1 one a lot. I can't remember if they did one for episode 3, but that's, you know, variant robe, variant hat. And then it's got Shumai, and it's got Pastel Argente. I don't actually know how you're meant to pronounce that name, but Shumai and Pastel are just definitely characters that, again, you're never going to see in this scale in any other format than this one. Like, that just pulls right off. These could not have survived particularly well on the shelves at Walmart or wherever they were sold back in the day. Like, this is so flimsily made, it is within a stone's throw of being collector-friendly packaging, because you could probably just tape it all back together if you wanted. I am today realizing they're completely identical. Like, they're the same thing in 2 halves. Anyway, you push the 2 together and you get a whole table. Like, this really looks nice in a display, is having a piece of furniture or architecture that you can position figures around so they're not just standing staring out at the twin suns of Tatooine. There's your Newt, very similar to Newt 1.0, but actually not really. I mean, again, that's a pretty different robe sculpt, head sculpt. God, he stinks. He stinks like basement. You know what I'm talking about. Actually, you know what? That's probably screen accurate. I bet the real Newt Gunray smells like a basement. There's Shumai, who has cloven hooves, so she stands up not at all, but fortunately, there are stands for that. This is what I mean when I say 5-point of articulation's gotta come back. Because, like, I don't need more articulation for that character. I just want that character, right? Like, the fact that she can move her arms is a miracle. I don't even think she can move her head. Finally, there's Passel. He's got gack all over him again, too. Yeah. That's a great one, too. Like, again, look at that. Look at the paint job on the face. Well, that's great. That's a lot of shading for something that is, you know, relatively insignificant in the grand scheme of things. No feet articulation, obviously. He's just kind of a peg, but he can move his arms and gesture. Yeah, I think we should probably attack the Republic. I mean, they seem like jerks. So there's my guys. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm going to be displaying them up on the shelf now, and we'll see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what kinds of world building figure sets you'd like to see from Hasbro in a mythical universe that exists only in our mind. I mean, they are doing those 4-packs of army builders. That's cool, but, like, you know, there's more than just armies to the world building. What sorts of environmental or group figures would you like to see? I'd really like to hear from you. Thanks for watching.